Thank you for having me here today, and I'm excited to be a part of the Smart Cities Happy Citizens World Summit. Today's presentation will provide you with an overview of the University of Maryland, Baltimore's CURE Scholars Program. CURE Scholars is a STEM and healthcare pipeline program for West Baltimore youth. After the program overview, I will also include information on how CURE accomplishes all of its wonderful work. We rely on a vast network of staff, faculty, teachers, social workers, and volunteers to get all of it done, and I'll share with you some of the ways we mobilize all of these people. The University of Maryland, Baltimore is very much an urban university that sits right alongside neighboring communities. The university has several graduate-level professional schools. The university considers itself what's called an anchor institution, meaning it has made a commitment at the highest levels to support the well-being of the communities it borders. CURE Scholars is one of several community programs that the university offers. It's an initiative of the Office of the President, as well as the University of Maryland's Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center. Scholars mostly live in Southwest Baltimore. It is a community that faces many social and economic challenges. Scholars only enter the program at 6th grade level and are recruited from just 3 partner schools, which you see here in the photos. Our partner schools also provide Baltimore City public school teachers for our after-school and summer programming. So here you'll see CURE's mission statements. Our goal is really to create the next generation of STEM and healthcare leaders and to cultivate and grow their interests and skills in the field over the 6 years they're in the program. CURE is a year-round program that currently serves over 135 youth. We recruit about 25 scholars a year, and we are not yet at full capacity as our oldest scholars are juniors. So we have much more room to grow. We have a full-time staff of 9, but are supported by many other key players, which I'll talk about later on. CURE is considered a pipeline program because this is a long-term form of engagement for the scholars. CURE has several sub-program components by age and grade level. Our middle school program is designed to expose the scholars to the science building blocks that they'll need for more advanced STEM work later on. When they leave middle school, they enter our CURE Connections program, which includes a transitional summer program called the Academy. Finally, they end up in a program called Career Navigators, which is a new program for us that focuses on career mentorship and college and career readiness. When we are not in a pandemic, we usually bring the scholars to campus for their programming. We are actually really excited that when we do return to campus, our programming will be housed in the university's brand new Community Engagement Center. This was a 20,000 square foot building that was not in use and that the university purchased and refurbished. It will house our program classrooms and several other initiatives. Here's just a photo of the assortment of different kinds of experiences the scholars participate in throughout the year. In the classroom, we aim to provide scholars with lab activities, but also offer them programming on wellness and movement science. You'll see a couple of lab images from summer and after-school programming. You'll also see one image of the scholars doing breathing exercises with our Center for Integrative Health. We also offer ongoing opportunities to interact with career professionals. For example, the image where scholars and mentors are wearing face masks is our annual Oral Health Day with the School of Dentistry. There is also an image in the middle top row, which is actually our university president, Dr. Bruce Jarrell, with a scholar during a tour of a Da Vinci surgical robot. He's a surgeon by training and really wanted to tag along to share his knowledge with the scholars. We also encourage the scholars to share their knowledge with others. We have several opportunities throughout the year, including presenting at the Maryland State Capitol to elected officials and at a special cancer research day in the fall. And actually in the top right photo, you'll see one of our scholars presenting to the head of our cancer center, Dr. Kevin Cullen. We also have a large spring STEM exposition that happens at the end of each year, which is the image on the left-hand side. One of the things that separates CURE from a lot of STEM education programs is our holistic approach to supporting youth and families. We have a full-time social worker that works with our parents and scholars. We also offer community building events for our broader network. We also have a CURE Parent Organization, which is a voluntary organization where CURE parents are in the leadership. You'll see those officers in the red t-shirts. Last but not least, CURE also has several mentors that play a key role in its work. Mentors can assist in active programming, provide career or shadowing opportunities, or support academic enrichment activities. So to close this part of the presentation, I just want to say that we've gone virtual in this COVID-19 pandemic. Keeping the scholars and families safe was a high priority for us, and we've been enjoying moving our activities online. So next, we will pivot and talk about how we get all this done. We say at CURE that it takes a village, and I truly believe that's the case. So here's the village. It's a wonderful assortment of professionals that have many different and varied roles. Each individual plays their part in the success of the program. I think a grand challenge is orchestrating all of these people and making sure everyone stays on the same page. So how do we organize ourselves? CURE operates through a series of team and committee structures. Some of those are programmatic, such as our central team, which consists mostly of the 9 staff I mentioned earlier, but also people who devote a good percentage of their effort to the program on a week-to-week basis. Another programmatic team is our instructor corps, which is led by our Director of Programs and STEM Curriculum and does all of the lesson planning for the classroom space. Finally, we have our social work team that consists of our social worker, but also master's level social work students that use CURE as their internship placement. On the advisory side, we have a series of shared strategic committees. They are shared because membership is split between external advisors and internal university stakeholders. Each committee serves as a sounding board and a strategy hub for various aspects of the program. For example, the Scholar Success Committee is where we outline strategies for our social work and college and career programming. Connecting all of these committees and people can seem daunting at times, and so I always try to ground myself in these 4 key strategies. The first is pretty self-explanatory. Each of the committees represents a brain trust of sort, and I really don't pretend to be an expert in all of these different areas. I think letting people offer their innate strengths and talents is always a good thing. Communicating often and across is a big part of my day-to-day work. Things can very easily get lost in translation when one set of people aren't aware of what the others are doing. The next one, it's okay not to do, is actually very hard to do in a fast-moving organization like CURE. However, I'm totally fine not having a meeting if we have nothing to talk about, or cutting a meeting short if the agenda isn't that full. In the pandemic, I think doing community work can also feel 10 times harder, so we also need to be kinder to ourselves and accept some limitations. Finally, be a mindful leader. I recently came across a definition of mindful leadership from the Institute for Mindful Leadership, and it really spoke to me. And so I'll end my slide deck with this. The definition of mindful leadership is someone who embodies leadership presence by cultivating focus, clarity, creativity, and compassion in the service of others. And I think that's pretty nice. Thanks for watching this presentation. Feel free to reach out if you see ways for us to collaborate, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Take care.